Thanks for tuning in at Brackies.
Hello everyone and welcome to video number 6 in Make a Game, a short series on making a cool little video game in Unity. In this one we are going to take a look at quality settings or render settings inside of Unity. Those two are often confused, so I'm just going to clear that up. And we're going to talk about stuff like anti-aliasing and how many lights you can have in your scene, and just overall adjusting the quality of our game. So let's delve right into it. Actually, before we do, I just have a very short sneak peek into the game I'm developing at the moment called Squixel, and this is just a wallpaper I made for it. You haven't seen anything yet, and it's not coming soon in an alpha version to PC and Mac, and it's not called Squixel. So let's continue with the video here. So first off, let's open up Unity as always, and to get to the quality settings, go to Edit, Project Settings, and go to Quality. And this is basically how advanced you want the graphics to be for your game. And if you're making a game that you're serious about, you really want the player to be able to select how good of a quality the graphics should be, so that if they're on a computer who can't handle that much, they can change it up to make it run better on the hardware. So Unity have made a really nice system for us to adjust this. And they use what is called levels. And basically you can add some yourself and call them whatever you want. But these are quality levels that you can switch between, and you can standardize on different platforms and make available on different platforms, so that once you release the game to a lot of platforms, the users will be able to choose the quality. Let's just take a look at the prefabs they set up by default. Let's select the fastest one. We can see now we don't have any shadows, and the anti-aliasing is completely off. No anisotropic textures, and the texture quality is horrible. All of this is just turned off. And if we go to Fantastic, we can see some much more smooth edges, still not that incredible. We can see some detailed shadows and such. So it changes up the way the graphics are rendered, and this is not that visible in our game because we don't have that many graphics in there. But once you start to get more, it becomes very visible. But basically, I think there are way too many levels for our game. So let's delete. Let's delete fast. Let's delete simple, and let's delete beautiful. So we have fast, good, and we have fantastic. And let's rename the fastest to, let's rename this to fast or low quality. Let's just say low quality. And let's adjust the settings here. So basically this is going to run on the lowest quality devices. And pixel light count is how many lights can be shown on one object. And this is actually not that taxing on the computer. You can easily increase this to at least 10 on a older desktop computer. If you're on mobile devices, you have to be a lot more careful. Then I would lower it by quite a bit. But definitely for computers, you can always stay above 10. The texture quality, let's make that half resolution. And also anisotropic textures, let's make that per texture. Anti-aliasing, let's say that's completely disabled. Soft particles is something that we will just keep off. Shadows, I think we should enable shadows since they add quite a lot to the game. So let's make hard shadows only. And they should be medium resolution. Actually, let's do low resolution. This is really up to you, and it depends completely on how much you have in the scene. Because our level is so simple, we could easily bump this up, but I'm just gonna assume that you have made more than what I have here. So the low resolution, stable fit is fine, no cascades, and the shadow distance, let's increase that to 30. That's basically how far away you need, or how close you need to be to the subject before the shadow shows. The resolution is how edgy the shadow looks. So if we turn on the light here, you can see here there are some jagged edges that is removed by increasing the resolution. And hard and soft shadows, that's not something you need to worry about if you have the free version of Unity. Now let's go back into the quality settings here and let's adjust the second layer. Let's call this medium quality. Not all these fancy terms. And let's increase the light here to 50. And that's way more than you're gonna need, but that's okay. We could also do 30 just to make it more realistic. The texture quality, now we want it to be full resolution. We want this to be per texture still. Anti-aliasing, I think we can easily bump that to at least 2, maybe even 4. The shadows, both hard and soft shadows definitely, and medium resolution, you could do high. I'm just gonna stick to medium. And fantastic, that's when we get to bump it up quite a lot. So let's make this high quality, and the pixel light count could be 100. Texture quality, full resolution, forced on, anti-aliasing, bump that up to 8. Soft particles are fine. The very high resolution shadows, and that all looks really great. What you can do is add a make this a little less expensive on the hardware and then make an ultimate quality or a fantastic quality, because there is quite a gap between medium and high quality, but it doesn't make that great of a difference. But whenever we play test, you normally want to be in the highest quality so you can get all the detail right, and then later play test in low quality settings. And if you're lag spiking or something because you both have to run Unity and the player, you can bump it down to something like medium. But that was basically it for the quality tab. I also mentioned the render settings, and these are often confused. You get to them by going to Edit, Render Settings, and now you can see we have been here before in one of the previous videos. We adjust light, the ambient light, how we liked it, and that's done under the render settings. Oops, I jumped out there. And this is where you can add stuff like fog. You can change default skyboxes, default textures of different kinds, flares and halo. You really don't need to tweak that that much in an ordinary game. You might add some fog, not in our game yet at least, and you might add a default skybox material, but really you should just leave this be. Ambient light though is very important, and you should definitely have a look at how you want the ambient light to be. Cool, and one thing to mention, the render settings are scene oriented. So if I make a new scene and I want some fog in there, I can just turn that on and the old scene will still have it disabled, whereas the quality settings are for the whole game. Cool, so now let's make some defaults on our different levels. So let's just assume that we're gonna run this as a standalone. That means that you build it for PC and Mac. And let's set the default level here by pressing the arrow beneath the arrow, which means standalone. And let's change this to high quality. So now that's gonna be selected by default. And let's see the phone here. That must be an iPhone. Let's change that to low quality. The same with the Android phone. Let's change that to low. The BlackBerry, definitely low. Windows Store apps, that depends on where they're displayed. Let's say medium. The WP8, the Windows Phone 8, low quality. And that one, that must be the Ouya. Don't know that much about its hardware. I don't think you're going to be publishing to that, but let's just bump that up to high. And then for the web player, let's make that medium quality by default. And oh, they follow along. Oh, they're both web, right. So let's just make that a medium quality. And that was pretty much it for this tutorial. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next video.